when I was in college, I studied a lot of medieval literature. And one of the things we did was look at illuminated manuscripts. And illuminated manuscripts were really just people who were told in monasteries to sit down and copy something. And so they would do a good job. They had to do a good job. But they would put little drawings in, too. And the drawings were always individual. The drawings were always that person's expression of himself as he was doing his scut work, copying manuscripts. And then when I was working on my book, 13 Ways of Looking at the Novel, which involved reading 100 novels, and the first one was The Tale of Genji, which was written in 1004, and I reread some Icelandic sagas, and the thing I noticed all the way from 1004 to 2001 was that you could not mistake any author for another. Every author was different. Even if that person was writing trash, 500 books a year of murder mysteries, still, you couldn't mistake that writer for another. And so art is the way that people over the centuries have expressed who they are, expressed their individuality. And all the things that we do in the world, mostly, are things that we have to do in order to live. We have to raise our children, we have to make money, we have to grow the food, we have to do the work. We have to belong to organizations, we have to belong to nations, we have to at least obey most of the time. But when we make art, we don't and can't obey. And so art is constant expression of freedom, the whole time that you are putting the art on the paper and the whole time that you are looking at it or reading it. And so the reason to fund the arts, no matter who you are, you might be funding the arts by buying a print or buying a book or buying some songs. You might be funding the arts by contributing to a foundation or a library so that other people can have books to read. But every time you do that, you enhance the possibility that someone, especially a child, but anyone, will feel that sense of freedom that you feel when you're reading a book or looking at a painting or writing your own book or making your own painting. I only have about a minute left, but I think the history of the novel shows that history of the novel since, say, the middle of the 17th century shows that people who were once considered to be possessions, namely women, learned through the novel that they had an inner life, that they had choice, that they had freedom. And they learned that by reading about it, by reading about other women characters, making their own choices. So that's just a paradigm. Black Beauty learned that he was free also when he read that book about himself. He learned that he had an inner life, even though he was a horse. And I spend a lot of time with horses, so I know that he did have an inner life. And that one of her jobs, the author of Black Beauty, was to look inside him, to feel empathy for him. So art is what civilizes us, and that is why we fund it, that's why we support it, that's why we enjoy it, that's why we embrace it. Thank you.